welcome back to the next episode of Heads Up with N, where today is a very exciting episode because we get to discuss the pregnancy that we're having.
Yeah, baby number 3.
Baby number
Very
3.
exciting.
So currently I'm 22 weeks along and we're due end of July, which is exciting. We haven't had a winter baby before. So I think it'll be really nice just to have a very calm, relaxing, cozy winter baby. Are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't describe pregnancy as calm and relaxing.
I know. I have to calm myself.
I am excited. Yes,
Yeah.
very excited.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, this is good. Very good. We actually don't know what we're having, which is a new thing for us.
Yeah, it's a change up for baby number 3. Got to keep it interesting.
Exactly, because we think this is, for me, my last baby. We knew the genders of our other baby, but we thought we'd keep this one a surprise, the last one.
Lucky last. Why not?
Yeah, change it up.
Yeah.
Which is exciting because, like, I'm one of 3 sisters. So if we had a girl, that would be really nice to replicate my relationship with my sisters. But if we had a boy, then we get to have a boy, which is something we've never had before. That's really exciting. So I just wanted to mention, obviously, pregnancy and fertility. This can be a sensitive topic for a lot of people and a lot of people in the cancer space because this might not be an option for everyone. So before we go into that, I just wanted to touch up on that if this might be triggering or upsetting for you, this doesn't have to be the episode that you have to listen to. But I wanted to put this story out there just as a message of hope, and also as a message isn't necessarily a story about pregnancy, but also for us and for me especially. It was a story of continuing on with what you want to do in life, reaching out for those goals, not letting yourself be held back. Doing what you really wanted to do and allowing yourself to be okay with that. Because I think for a long time I felt pressure and I felt very guilty about thinking too ahead of the future. And I told myself, no, those things aren't for you. You shouldn't think that far ahead. So don't allow yourself to have those dreams or goals. But slowly, and I'm very grateful for obviously my medical team and my recovery, I was able to let down those walls a little bit and accept the fact that I might be here for, longer than I like to tell myself. I might have a future.
I think a big, especially part of our experience, because you were diagnosed and our second child was
8 weeks old.
Yeah, 8 weeks old. And when we were going through all the surgery and sort of talking with the first set of doctors, we sort of both looked at each other and said, we're so blessed to already have 2 kids, when they were having the discussion about freezing eggs, that we both sort of didn't take that conversation as seriously, I think, as what we should have in that moment. And we sort of just brushed it off and we said, we should be grateful we've got 2 kids. We don't need to do that. And then sort of 8-10 months down the journey, we sort of looked at each other and said, well, why did we make that decision? Like that
why did we write off my fertility
Yeah.
at the age of 30? Let's start from that story because I think that that's so poignant, right? Because it was only a few weeks, maybe 10 days after my surgery, that we had this meeting. And in that meeting, we discussed my treatment plan and everything. And then right at the end, it was offered to me to do IVF. And keep in mind that, I was 8 weeks postpartum. So my hormones were already completely, dysregulated. But the idea, number one, the idea of going through IVF where you have to take a bunch of hormones and egg collection, that didn't appeal to me because I was just coming down from pregnancy. And then number 2, it was like, you shouldn't say yes to wanting more children because you're so lucky that you have 2. Take this as a sign and appreciate that and be really grateful that you have your 2 and don't ask for more. It's greedy to ask for more. Be happy with what you've got. Take that as a sign and say no. So we just said no. We're so lucky to have our 2 and we absolutely are. But it was later down the track that into my recovery that we thought, hang on, we always wanted more children, and we love time with our children. We love time with our family. Why did we say no when we kind of just like,
Yeah, exactly. We let the pressure of the moment make a decision for us. We shouldn't try and limit ourselves. Like I said, we did that, and we sort of afterwards realized we were pretty silly for doing that.
Yeah.
But
And then I
yeah.
think maybe more so for me than for you, because you didn't seem too rattled by it. But so once we thought, okay, like maybe a third child is like, we might want that. Then for a while, I grappled with the feeling of what would other people think. So if I struggled to have another baby, what would others say because they don't understand us and our mindset. Just think like, oh, that mom, she's having a child and she doesn't know how long she's got left to live. How irresponsible, how selfish. And I really feared that kind of judgment. Because I feared for the worst outcome, because obviously I think like, what if I'm right? And I think it took some time for me to like flip that backwards and think, but on the flip side, I'm giving my children another sibling. And that other sibling, that other sibling will be another person to enjoy these memories with us, to take part in our family events, and if worse comes to worse, to remember.
I think the biggest thing for me is the choice to have a baby is between you and your partner at the end of the day. And other people's opinions on what they think is ethically right or wrong, to me, they're irrelevant. Like, it's us who's made this decision. It's us who have to live with the consequences, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
There may not be consequences, but that's our decision to make. And if someone wants to judge me or us for decisions we've made, I'm not going to let that impact me. Like I said, we want to live our lives the way we want to live our lives, and it is what it is.
Yeah. And I think I have a lot of faith in you as well, knowing that you're going to be okay, and you would be.
I wouldn't say I'm going to be okay,
but I think you would be a good. I have to think about these things, and what's sad is that sad and good maybe, that not a lot of parents think about this stuff. What happens, and really think about what happens if one of us dies. And really think about the logistics. And that's quite fortunate in a way to have that naivety. But in others, I think we have to be really realistic about this. And there's a beauty in that. There's a beauty in that confidence. There's a beauty in that trust in your partner, and trusting that you will have to let go at some point, and also considering life. There's no guarantee. A perfectly healthy mother can have a baby and be diagnosed the next day, or have an injury, or the father, you could get hurt before I go. But unfortunately, I do live with the fact of knowing what might kill me, right? I live knowing what's the most likely thing that's going to end my life. I know that. But we have to process that together as a couple and not let it hold us back in too much of a degree, But this is something we really wanted for us and our family and our children. And after some time thinking about it and speaking with our doctors, obviously, we felt it was the right choice for us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So now the tears are out of the way. We'll go back to the story. So yeah, we had to struggle with all of these emotions. Or
You more than me.
I think you would have a fourth child.
I'm still team fourth child. You're
Yeah,
very much
I'm very
no,
much
but
no.
to,
Yeah.
to be fair, I should say that before me and Em started having kids, my perspective on kids has never been a number, but more of a how much time can I give and spend, and balancing all of your different responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'd have 5 kids if someone gave me $5 million tomorrow. Like, why not? Like,
Yeah,
kids are
it's
the
been
greatest
about one
joy in
child at a
life.
time.
So yeah,
Yeah.
just always sort of working out where we're at and what's going to make us most happy and our family most happy. And
Yeah.
whether that's 1 kid, 10 kids, no kids, whatever decision you make, that's, as I said, is between you and your partner, or whatever makes you happy. I think the most important thing is just not putting pressure on the situation or yourself to, like I said, especially if you're the type of person that said, in my mind, I've always wanted 2 kids, and you've only had 1 kid, and then you get this diagnosis. Don't put pressure on yourself to say, I need to have that second kid because that's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things will happen the way they're going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So then moving on from this story, we grappled with all of these emotions, and we did need to obviously discuss this with our doctors and our team, and see what they thought. And every time I go to see Dr. Back anyway, I just like to hear his reassurance, and I ask him the same questions of how how is it going? What do you see for me? When do you think a reoccurrence might happen for me? And it definitely gives me peace of mind to just re-listen to that every time. But obviously at you could call it the 2-year anniversary appointment.
Yeah, because that's the big scan.
Yes, as Dr. Back had always mentioned to me, if you are 2 years post-diagnosis without a recurrence, that puts you in an even stronger category to know that your tumor is less aggressive because it hasn't grown back in 2 years. So we know it kind of confirms to him that it is of the slow-growing nature, and that gives him peace of mind, which obviously gives me peace of mind. So that was a big scan in itself, and kind of just like a celebratory scan.
Yeah, plus being off, what was the drug you were taking?
So it was chemotherapy being off the chemotherapy for a year.
The seizure one.
Oh, that was another one.
Keppra. You had to be off Keppra.
We had to be off Keppra.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Just to touch on, we do need to remember that for a while, because we had that meeting with our team where they offered us fertility treatments and we said no, we weren't even sure if we were able to conceive, because we thought that the chemotherapy might affect my egg supply, and we were worried about the quality of the eggs and if that was even a possibility. For a good amount of time, just thought, oh, because they offered me IVF, I probably am not fertile anymore, and I've just like said goodbye to my fertility. And I was kind of slowly coming around to the idea of a third child and being like, why did I write off my fertility at the age of 30? Like, why wouldn't I give myself a fighting chance? Like, why didn't I believe in myself? And I had met other women who had collected their eggs, and I thought, wow, I'm so silly for not doing that. So I felt a lot of guilt for a while for not doing that and not saying yes in that moment. And I think it had a lot to do with my confidence.
I don't think you felt guilt about saying no in that moment. I think you more felt guilt about not taking that moment seriously.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it matters if you say yes or no. I think the most important thing in that moment is to give it the respect that it deserves.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's definitely
We were quick.
something that we failed at in that moment.
Yeah. We were just like immediately no. We just like changed the conversation.
Yeah, because like that's what I was touching on before, of if in your mind you've always wanted 2 kids and you've got 1 kid, it is okay to say no in that moment. It's what works for you. And you really need to be conscious of not putting more pressure on yourself.
Yeah. But exactly, I think like doing the egg collection would have just relieved pressure, right? Because it would just been like, oh, at least I've got eggs on reserve. Like if
Yeah.
like I'd given myself a chance if that chance
Exactly.
came, you know?
Exactly. Like you said, like
Yeah.
we were very much on the fence of if we wanted another kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that moment, we should have said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because who knows what life throws at you.
Mm-hmm.
There's you cannot know in that moment what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just want to give yourself all the options
Yeah.
that you possibly can.
Exactly. Yeah. So we said no, and we were, yeah, I just thought, okay, I must not be able to. So, yeah, in this meeting at the 2 year, I was really happy to also hear that I would be fertile and it would be likely because of the drug I took called Zoladex, which protects your ovaries. And from what I know, without, giving medical advice, it protects the ovaries and might affect the quantity of your eggs, but not the quality. So that was really important for me to know that the eggs wouldn't be damaged, but it might have an effect on if we were able to get pregnant, because it might have just killed the eggs, but it wouldn't have damaged the eggs, which was obviously another worry of mine.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not a doctor, so I'm not going to say
Yes,
anything on this point.
Exactly.
Speak to your doctor.
Yes, definitely. Without giving any medical advice, that was what we were told, and that was what I was also worried about. So we were told all of this good news in that appointment, that I was 2 years without a recurrence. I was already 1 year off.
Keppra.
No, I was 1 year
Zoladex.
off chemotherapy,
Okay.
off the Zoladex, and I had weaned myself already off Keppra, which is an anti-seizure medication, which I'm sure this community knows all about. That is hard at times. I had tried to wean off sooner than I think I was ready, and I learned some warning signals that I could tell was not right, so I went back on it. After a couple of months, I felt ready to go off, and it wasn't necessarily like I didn't go off the Keppra because of fertility reasons. I more went off the Keppra because I genuinely felt I didn't need it anymore, but also to feel normal again, because you have to take it twice a day, and just like slowly returning to normal life, being able to now say that I'm not on any medication is just such a incredible feeling for me, because I don't have that, daily reminder, which is a really, really hard place to be. It does become part of normal life, but it can be difficult. Yes, so that was a really exciting meeting. And we are fortunate enough that we got pregnant soon after that. So that was, really lucky for us and really exciting.
All been quick pregnancies. So.
Yes. What are you most excited for with this new baby? Given our whole experience, given this whole kind of difficult chapter, what are you looking forward to?
A new baby? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
obviously this is different.
Is it?
Is it? It's not different to you?
No, it's like I said, I feel like I'm sort of through it at this point in my mind's mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see the excitement of it. Like, I'm having my third kid, my family's getting bigger. I got just more love around me. Like, yeah.
I guess what I'm excited for then. Let me tell you what you
yeah,
should be
what my
excited.
answer should have been.
Yeah.
What should I have been excited
Well,
for?
I'm really excited that we've been through this extremely difficult chapter, and Chessie, our second daughter, was in the center of it, being in the fact that she was so little, and I feel like she didn't get the best first year we could have given her. We were, there was a
I
lot
disagree.
we could have, as in it was a hard time, right? I don't think I was as emotionally present for both of my children as I should have been, and I think that that's okay, obviously. But I'm looking forward to this baby. I see it like a fresh start. I keep calling this baby a celebration baby, because it's just so nice that we get to do it one more time. We get to relive those newborn experiences without any kind of major disruptions, hopefully.
Yes.
But we get to redo it one more time and give our daughters another sibling, and just kind of learn to be so much more present in those early stages, and I think I'm going to like appreciate it so much more because I get to do it, right? I really get to do it. The first time I was pregnant, obviously it's like so overwhelming. Your first baby, there's a lot, so much going on. Then that second time, I felt like that time was taken away from me. I was gone.
I think you're being hard on yourself in this moment, even with Chessie. And like we said, she was 8 weeks when you were diagnosed. You were doing surgery. She would have been like 10 weeks, 11 weeks.
Yeah.
Like you spent so much time with her after that point because you couldn't go anywhere else. You couldn't drive. You were homebound.
Physically, I was there. But I'm not sure if, like,
you were
mentally.
definitely there for her emotionally and mentally, and spent time with her.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those, especially for, I would say for everyone listening, is just that same advice of take the pressure off and don't be hard on yourself. Like obviously, if you've had a baby previously and now you've got cancer and you've got a baby, like there are going to be differences. But just because there are differences doesn't mean that you've done a worse job or haven't cared for your baby as well as what you should have.
Yeah.
You still did everything to the best of your abilities. And you shouldn't feel guilt in a sense.
No.
So.
Maybe not guilt. Maybe just like added excitement that I get to do more.
I mean, added excitement is fair. Yeah. It's after this. Yeah. After going through this and a new baby, I can understand.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that. And I think, just to touch on the fact that for me, it's more than just being able to, I'm so happy that I get to have this new baby. For me, it's also a sense of independence. Like I get to have this decision. I get to make this decision for myself. And in that 2-year meeting with Dr. Back, he literally said to me, like, I was like, okay, so like, what can I do with my life? Yeah. And he just said, do anything you want.
Yeah, exactly. You've got full control over this at the moment.
Yeah, so. Which like meant so much to me.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for anyone with any diagnosis, right? Like, do what you want to do and enjoy your life. And you're here now, and make the most of it. And don't tell yourself that you can't do. Obviously, there are limitations to what you can and can't do with this kind of diagnosis.
Ask your doctor.
Yeah, that comes with, even with my eyesight, I still have limitations. Everyone has their own thing, but like, don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you can and do what you can and really know that there could be more out there than just what can be stuck in your head. But because I think we can all be really scared about the future, and so because of that, we'll just put blinders on and tell yourself, no, you can't do that, don't enjoy that, don't think too far ahead. But you're absolutely allowed to. And like we say, we don't know what the future holds. I have no control over the future, but I'm allowed to hope for more, and I'm allowed to look forward to that. Yeah, absolutely. And I think allowing myself that, and hearing Dr. Back give me permission to do that almost made me like allowed myself to, like he gave me permission to, which
I'm glad his opinion meant more than mine. That's how it's coming up right now.
But the way he said, like, do anything you want, it made me feel like, wow, okay, I am allowed to do what I want. And that made me feel really good. Yeah. So it's so exciting. Yeah. Very, very exciting. I hope this episode resonates with some of our listeners. And like I said, this might not just associate with fertility or pregnancy, but I hope you enjoyed listening. And we will see you back for another episode soon. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Heads Up with Em. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. If you're a brain cancer survivor, a caregiver, or someone just looking for some inspiration, remember you're not alone and your story matters. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review if you enjoyed the episode. It helps others find this space too. If you want to connect, you can find me on Heads Up with Em Instagram and my Instagram account, Emily Francesca Kirk. I'm excited to share more with you next time.